welcome back for a brand new episode of Jory Sports Stories. As always, I'm your host Jory, and on today's episode, football is back, and we're about to get it rolling with our AFC West Outlook, our dissection of the whole Jonathan Taylor situation. We do final preseason predictions and other news around the league, and more. It's a packed episode, and stay tuned for at the end for a little season 3 update. So without further ado, turn your volume up and let's get it. Now, like I said, we're starting in the NFL and we're going to discuss the AFC West. We got some Titans talk. We got some things going on in the NFL as far as contracts being made, other things like that. So we're going to just go straight into the NFL. Next week, we'll do WNBA and other stuff and more NFL. But right now, it's the meat of the preseason because we're getting ready to get rolling for the regular season. So you'll hear what I think. Let's get it. Alright, so the first things first, we're going to discuss our AFC West Outlook. And the first team we're going to discuss is the Kansas City Chiefs. And some of the biggest questions and concerns that I have for them is that this Chris Jones situation could be deeper than what most people think. Has the division even gotten somewhat to a level playing field? And what's really stopping this team? And plus, of course, our outlook and expectations for the Chiefs. So, let's get into it. But one thing's for sure, that they're definitely going to need Chris Jones. This situation is probably going to get a little bit or a lot of bit uglier before it gets remotely better, because he himself said that he'll sit out until week 8, and they can maybe get away with that until week 5 or 6, looking at their schedule. If you really think about it, like what that man does to that defense is like what Patrick Mahomes means to that offense. So they need to pay him, clearly. And like some of these teams, you really got to get to the quarterback to affect the game. Such as like Jacksonville, or if you have hell with it, Baltimore. You really got to get to the quarterback. So the division still isn't very difficult to conquer. It's still the Chiefs and then everybody else. I do see the Chargers being a dark horse, but the only thing that I could really see stopping this team is themselves and injuries. I mean, when I say about themselves, like, you understand that the Chiefs tend to have to get very cute. And then there's stretches of the season where they don't look half of themselves. And then Kadarius Toney is hurt again, and it's questionable when it comes to staying healthy. And they're going to need him. And he's also questionable in my eyes to play week 1. But another thing that's concerning is their wide receiver room. Like, when are you going to stop expecting Patrick Mahomes to be a magician to every wide receiver, to be the wide receiver doctor? Get that man some weapons. A reliable weapon other than Travis Kelce. Because eventually, there's going to be a step back. Not even trying to hate. But my thing about the Chiefs is that they will be fine unless the wheels, for whatever reason, decide to fall off. I mean, not even fall off, just disappear. Because they've shown time and time again that a wheel or two can fall off and they'll be fine. They will probably make another deep playoff run. They'll be more experienced. And another thing that I wonder about when it comes to the Chiefs is their left tackle situation. And with all the talent that they do have in their receiver room, that they just haven't, for whatever reason, been able to keep decent receivers on that team, or quality. Well, the problem is Patrick Mahomes is so great, he makes his receivers look so great that they go get contracts to play somewhere else. That's the problem. But if the receivers that are there in that receiving room there now, if they stayed healthy, they could be a tad bit dangerous. And that is a whole nother level of chiefdom that I don't think we want to see. So, next team we're going to talk about is the Chargers. The questions and concerns, and I'm not going to rant, but that's what I'm here for. Brandon Staley. Injuries. Is this make or break? bigger issues, and of course, our general outlook and expectations. First things first, Brandon Staley is a putrid head coach. He's a dunce. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's bad at managing his players in the game. He doesn't really make adjustments. And the Chargers are really doing Herbert a disservice by keeping that man as a head coach. Do I really need to say anything else about how I feel about Brandon Staley as a head coach in the NFL? No. Second, Justin Herbert is not a dink and dunk check down quarterback. He's a gunslinger. And now that he has Kellen Moore as his OC, and he's known to make quarterbacks look better, i.e. Dak, this offense should be dangerous. However, and I understand we got Quentin Johnson. He hasn't gotten hurt yet, from my understanding. This team is very injury prone. From the has Derwin been? I don't think Derwin has been hurt like that. No, but from Justin Herbert himself, who had spent time out last year with an injury, to Austin Eckler, to Mike Williams, to Keenan Allen, to big pieces on that defense. And this team is the definition, other than my team, is the definition of very injury prone. Keenan Allen can't stay healthy. Eckler can't stay healthy. Mike Williams can't stay healthy. I mean, what's going on with strength and conditioning down there in Los Angeles? I don't understand. And to address the last issue, whether it's not make or break, it is make or break. For Staley, of course, yes. And that defense is still kind of suspect, if you ask me. I know they added J.C. Jackson. I know that. But the Chargers have never been, almost for my entire life, have never been known, for as far as I can remember, because I'm 22, have never been known for a good defense. So their defense has always been kind of questionable. They've always kind of sort of left the middle of the field in a way open. But I feel like the Chargers could be a step behind the Chiefs. And they do need to tend to run the ball a little bit better. Eckler, for all of that crying that he did in the offseason about him not getting paid what he's worth, he really don't do much. I understand he catch passes out the backfield. But that's not what they need. I don't think that the Chargers need, I mean, everybody could use like a dual threat running back, right? But he need a little bit more power to his game. He too finesse. He don't do much. So he's over here complaining about him not getting paid and whatnot, but Austin Eckler can't stay healthy enough to get paid. So there's that. And then sometimes he just disappears. He's not a consistent running back. Next, but like I said, this is make or break for Brandon Staley. And if they can stay healthy, this team will probably be second in the division. If they can stay healthy. Next, we're going to talk about the Broncos. Russell Wilson, his injuries, how we need to hold our horses. And other things. But like the one thing about this team, this Broncos team, is you can't get much worse than last year. That's really the silver lining of this whole situation. You can't get much worse than last year. And if you manage to stink it up worse, if Russ manages to stink it up worse than he did last year, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell him. He need to go find a couch to lay on or something. And make more babies with Sierra. But that's neither here nor there. Everybody's got to hold their horses when it comes to how fast Sean Payton is going to be able to turn his team around. And or Russ. What they do need Russ to start doing is start seeing the field much better than he did. And to stop missing open reads and overshooting his receivers. Some of those times in those games, bro, like last year when I would watch the Broncos play, I'm like, they could have put me at quarterback and I would have made that throw. Don't play with me. I got a cannon for an arm. But I'm like, I would have made some of them throws. And he can't be as unconfident and as Hollywood as he was last year. that got on my nerve. And I understand that people are sick and tired of the Russell Wilson explanations and his soliloquies, but at the same time, that's what he do. He's been doing this for 10, 11 years. That's exactly what Russell Wilson is. But y'all know that he's full of baloney, so don't even take his soliloquies any serious. You can take what he says and you can actually interpret what he really meant to say and what he should have said. But you know that man is Hollywood and he's going to take something and run with it with a soliloquy. Y'all want that to stop. It's not going to stop. That's just a part of who he is at this point. So, but he can't be as rah-rah. And actually, I really don't want him to talk at all, if we're being completely honest. I'd rather not even hear Russell Wilson speak after a game. But he got to do it because he's the quarterback. But that defense was playoff caliber at its floor last year. The problem was the offense. And then the defense can stay off the field, so they got exposed a little bit. So, now, this year we're starting off on a rocky foot. Not even going to lie for a Broncos fan. With the injuries. You lost Tim Patrick is done to an Achilles tear. And I really feel bad for that young man because he missed all of last season because he tore his ACL. Now to miss all of this season because of an Achilles, you got to really feel for him. That's tough. Jerry Jeudy injured his hamstring, which we know will probably nag him for the rest of his career. There's that. They waived KJ Hamler, who was dealing with a heart issue. Was it pericarditis or something like that? But so they only have one proven wide receiver, which is Cortland Sutton, which is a problem. So Sean Payton has been tasked to fix Russell Wilson, and then all of his wide receivers get hurt within weeks of apart. That's bad luck. That's just bad luck right there. Like, the injury bug definitely bit the Broncos wide receiver room. And KJ Hamler couldn't even help it. So that's a concern for them. And they're going to need to stay healthy and keep the injuries to a minimum if they don't want this whole season to go completely sideways. Defense and running the ball will probably I slowed down and I still said a double B. Whatever. Will probably be their key to success, and they'll probably finish third. It is what it is. The Broncos, at least they're not the Raiders. At least I actually have hope for the Broncos. I don't have hope for the Raiders. I don't care if Tom Brady was the majority owner. Because the biggest questions are like Josh McDaniels, the defense, Jimmy G. The Josh Jacobs question got answered not too long ago, so I don't really have to answer that. But let's get into it. Josh McDaniels is also a bad head coach. He's a dunce and, again, doesn't know what he's doing. He's bringing the Patriots way to Vegas, and clearly, in some way, form, or fashion, or shape, is not working. Trading Derek Carr for Jimmy G. He's kind of divisive as a head coach. When you have people leaving and saying, oh, I finally got to say. Darren Waller, he went to New York and said he finally got to say. Because they didn't like to be questioned in Vegas because Josh McDaniels falls from the Patriot way. I feel like if you're going to be a leader, you need to be able to take input and criticism from your followers. So, I don't know who else may need to hear that, but hey. And they finally got Josh Jacobs back for 1 year, $12 million, so they won't be as bad of a dumpster fire. I didn't say they were going to be any good. They're going to be horrible. I don't know what their offensive line is made out of. Their defense gives up a lot. I don't know any of their defensive linemen other than maybe Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. And Chandler Jones had a down year last year. You got Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and Hunter Renfrow, and Foster Moreau? Or is he a Saint? I think he is Saint. I think I'm getting my tight ends mixed up. Hunter Renfrow on the offense and not much else. And Josh McDaniels, if he wants to turn this team into I'm going to throw it 30 to 35 times with a Jimmy G under center, he's going to get fired. That's just that. Jimmy G is definitely a check down quarterback. That's not somebody you I don't trust Jimmy G to air anything out unless it's to the other team. And we don't need that. If I'm a Raider, I wouldn't need that. But anyway, Jimmy G is not a drop, like I said, unless you want picks sprinkled in there. The O-line, the wide receiver room outside of Devontae Adams is still very much questionable. That defense was absolutely tragic last year and has got to improve if they're going to even win 2 games. And I'm not being mean. I think this team will be picking very high next year and will finish 4th in the division. So, that being said, I have the Chiefs coming off first, and they will probably be on, they'll probably, I'm so sick and tired of that word. I got the Chiefs winning that division. I have the Raiders not even sniffing the division. I have the Raiders picking first. I have the Broncos maybe winning 7 to 9 games. I feel like the Chiefs, that's an easy 13, 14 win game season. The Chargers could win 10 games. So, I mean, look, it's potential. So I got the Chiefs 1, Chargers 2, Broncos 3, Raiders 4. Now, if the Broncos, for some reason, perform extremely well and Russ kind of reverts back to old Russ, to like he actually knows how to play football at a high level, and the Chargers get hurt, they'll flip. But that's a very high chance of that happening. In other news, the Colts are allowing Jonathan Taylor to seek trade which is astronomically stupid. And there's actually interest. Now, I know there's 32 teams, there's only 6 have shown interest, but Miami made an offer which the Colts declined. I mean, I don't know if they declined that offer because they know deep in their heart they don't want to get rid of Jonathan Taylor. But this is really one of those situations, like, and I'm going to keep, every time I speak on it, I'm going to keep saying it, where this could have been completely avoided. Like, we don't even know if this doesn't even get this bad this quickly as it did if Jim Irsay never pressed in on a stupid tweet. Like, come on. Like, we don't know none of this. I mean, of course, yeah, it'll get ugly, but it don't get this ugly this quick. Like, in the span of like 4 to 5 weeks, we've gone through, he's just unhappy till he wants out. And he's resentful. He doesn't want to be there. And then, like I said last week when we talked about the AFC South. Well, whenever we talked about the AFC South, you have a rookie quarterback coming in, and you are screwing around with your, not literally, that's not what I meant, but you are literally making your top bell cow running back mad. Like, I don't understand why we had this whole devaluation of the running backs, because when you get in situations like this, a running back becomes your rookie quarterback's best friend. Especially when you're like the Colts and you don't have a good offensive line. Do I need to say anything else? Like I said, this is astronomically stupid. And the fact that there's interest and that he wants to get out, if I'm Jonathan Taylor, trade me. Because you're not finna sit here and pay me 1 year. You're not finna sit here and play with me. And then you're going to feed the ball to me 45 to 50 times because you got Anthony Richardson in the backfield. And you don't want to put too much on him too soon. Trade me. Get me out of here. If that's what I'm doing, if I'm Jonathan Taylor, I'm like, I'm telling him, I'm like, I'm not coming back. You might as well stop saying no to these offers and get me somewhere. That's my little rant on that. And next, Trey Lance was traded to the Dallas. Now, Jerry Jones also said that he wants Trey to develop under Dak. I feel like if Trey really was all of that, he could come in like in a year or two. Maybe, because I feel like Dak will still be there in about 2 years. He could come in and take Dak's job. I feel like Trey Lance has that potential. But we've never got to see it because the 49ers took a swing and a miss. A swing and a miss. So I wish the best for Trey Lance, and we'll see more of him hopefully in Dallas. Not hopefully in a situation where because somebody got injured. But I do look forward to watching that young man play. Because the 49ers just wasted his time. I mean, you gave up a ransom to trade him away for a 4th round pick in the end. Because it was a miss. But that's neither here or there. The Cardinals are having a garage sale. Like I said, if it's not going to be the Raiders that pick one, it's going to be the Chargers. It's going to be the Cardinals. Because they're not expecting Kyler Murray back until like week 14-ish, till like the second half of the season. I don't think he's going to come back until the second half of the season, if we're being completely honest. But, and then you're trading away some of your best pieces, like Isaiah Simmons. Like, the Cardinals got fleeced. You traded away Isaiah Simmons for a 7th round draft pick. Now, Monty, I know you came up under the tree of John Robinson, but you trying your best to get fired. Because if I'm a GM, I'm not trading away Isaiah Simmons. Not for no 7th round draft pick. I'm trying to get a 3rd or a 2nd. You got fleeced. And then they traded away one of their offensive linemen, I believe. I'm like, bro. The Cardinals will be garbage. And that's just that. And then, kind of sort of maybe breaking news, but not really because he's been holding in. Miami and Christian Wilkins are currently unable to reach a deal. Now, they have a new DN like Zach Sealer, and I like him. But this could be one of those cases where Christian Wilkins... Anyway, excuse me. Bella started barking. But Miami and Christian Wilkins currently unable to reach a deal. They have a new DN, Zach Sealer, whatnot. I think he's pretty decent. But Christian Wilkins last year was very productive. But was he very productive before that? Do you trust he's going to be very productive this year and the next year and the next year after that? Because I do know one thing. I like Christian Wilkins for his personality, but he's not like a Jeffrey Simmons. Like, you know Jeffrey Simmons is going to bring the pressure every game. He did it last year when he was hurt. He got paid because he deserved that. The past 4 years, and no, the past 3, yeah, that's why he got that $90 million. But Miami and Christian Wilkins, this is not about Jeffrey Simmons, and I'm not going to turn this into a Jeffrey Simmons topic. Miami and Christian Wilkins are unable to reach a deal, which I think, because looking at some of the teams that they're going to play this year, is that like some of the teams that they're going to play this year, you would like to have a Christian Wilkins disrupting the quarterback. You would like to. that's just sitting on that. And then, more news in the NFL, surprisingly. The Jets give OT Mekhi Becton his right tackle spot. I mean, I know I said he gave it, but he may have earned it. So he can finally stop all that crying about that's my spot, and he didn't earn it. Now, Mr. Becton, can you stay on the field? I need you to stay healthy. This year will be the first year that Jets fans will be able to see a healthy Mekhi Becton on the field, because his rookie year was the COVID year. Now, I do have high hopes for this young man, and they're going to need him. Because just like how other people said, somebody from the Jets said, I can't remember the name right now, but Aaron Rodgers does not like to be hit. He doesn't like his receivers dropping passes, because if you start dropping passes, he's not going to throw the ball. And if you get him hit, he might just cuss you out. Y'all know what Aaron Rodgers is. This is what the Jets asked for, and I'm ready to watch it happen. Even though I feel like popcorn and fireworks will happen now. The Raiders and Josh Jacobs agreed to a 1-year, $12 million deal. Granted, I just spoke about it, but here's the thing. The Raiders know that without Josh Jacobs, they're not winning one game. So, and that's just me being nice. Because you got Patrick Mahomes twice a year. You got Justin Herbert twice a year. And if I pull up the Raiders' schedule, which I know I can do it real quick. Give me just a second. Because I'm trying to prove a point. I'm like, you played Justin Herbert. But like I was saying, you're playing Justin Herbert twice. You got Mahomes twice. You first start with the Broncos, the Bills. And then you got, I believe it's the Steelers. Yeah, Broncos, Bills, Steelers, Chargers, Packers, Patriots. You're going to need Josh Jacobs, because I know the Broncos, you're not going to defense. You're going to have to wear them out. The Bills, I don't know. The Steelers, you're going to have to wear them out. The Chargers might be a little bit of an easier game. The Packers, I don't know yet. The Patriots, I've just seen that. Their run defense is pretty stifling. The Bears, they have some good pieces for run defense. Pass rush as well when it comes to some of these defenses. Like the Bills, the Broncos, the Steelers. Not the Steelers. The Patriots. They have pass rushes. They can get to the quarterback. You're going to need a Josh Jacobs. Period. And the Raiders knew that. Because even though it might get a little bit easier with the Lions, the Bears, Lions, and Giants, but you got the Jets, Dolphins, and Chiefs right after. So, like I said, the Raiders, in their heart, they know that they're not winning one game without Josh Jacobs. And if you look at their running back room, minus Josh Jacobs, it's horrible. I feel like if I really went in on the Raiders, I'd just say that they're badly run, they're badly coached, they're badly constructed. It's a bad team. But they knew that they needed Josh Jacobs, and at least for this year, which is why they only gave him 1 year, $12 million. Will they probably pay the man next year? Probably not. He'll probably walk, and then they'll probably be worse than where they started at this year. But that's neither here nor there. We'll have to cross that bridge before we get into it. But now, with some sad news, Ryan Jensen is headed to IR with a knee injury. It probably sounds like it's career ending, but he missed most of last year and rushed and delayed his surgery so he could try to get Brady in the playoffs or whatnot to make some magic happen one more time. And it might have, and it's really sad to think that one decision may have cost that man his career, the rest of his career, because he's headed to IR. And it is a knee injury, but it's so unfortunate. Like, it's just really unfortunate to see that happen. And now we're going to talk about some of the notable hold-ins, and we're going to see if those have been resolved or not. But Christian Wilkins, clearly, I just said, that's not resolved. Jonathan Taylor, not resolved, won't be resolved until Jonathan Taylor gets off of that team. Nick Bosa. This is funny. Like, I did not know Nick Bosa was holding out until like a few days ago. I'm like, oh, they're in trouble. Nick Bosa plays for the 49ers. Joey Bosa plays for the Chargers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, someone told me I'm right. I know I'm right. Nick Bosa plays for the 49ers and Joey Bosa plays for the Chargers, but Nick Bosa is the one that's holding out. The 49ers, I know that defensively they're stacked, but Nick Bosa is one of their key pieces. If he ain't happy, but he ain't healthy either. He can't stay healthy either. So I understand why they're at a stalemate. Josh Jacobs, that was resolved. The Zach Martin situation was resolved. The Saquon Barkley situation was resolved, even though I feel like he sold out a little bit. But then Josh Jacobs took a whole nother 1-year deal, so I really can't complain about that. But, hey, it is what it is. Now, I'm going to go deep into my little Titans fandom, and we're going to have some Titans talk before I give my final preseason predictions of the preseason before we really get into it. Because next week, I don't think I'm getting into that. Caleb Murphy, if you are not a Titans fan, and no, Titans fans would know, if Caleb Murphy does not make the team, bro, I promise you, I'll get in my little Chevy Sonic and I'll fly down 65, 75, 24. He can't leave the state of Tennessee. He's not allowed to. Like, the team loves him. Jeff loves him. I love him. The fans, they love him. He can't leave the state of Tennessee. I'll be the blockade on the border. I'll be Border Patrol. And my O-line looks better. Albeit it is still kind of consistent, but I need them to get it. They have a really, now that it's not preseason, I could talk like this now. Y'all gonna love me soon. But we got a really big test with the Saints coming up. So I really need my O-line to tighten up. Thank you. Now, what did this preseason prove? Mike Vrabel still got it. My defense is going to be scary. Y'all don't understand. Even with the Patriots preseason game, there was a reason why Bill Belichick didn't put Mac Jones out there. There was a reason he didn't put Mac Jones out there. And it had nothing to do with the other injury from the other game. It had nothing to do with it. And it had everything to do with if he had to put Mac Jones out there before actual season, Mac Jones would have probably got hurt. Like, my defensive line was not playing. And you know who did not play in that game? Jeffrey Simmons didn't play. But Danico Autry got his snaps in. Harold Landry got his snaps in. Rashad Weaver had a sack. Caleb Murphy had a sack. Michael Dwumfor had a sack. And it was just a sack party, and I just love to watch it. But this preseason proved, one, we good on running backs. I'm straight. Like, you got Tyjae Spears back there learning from Derrick Henry. Did you see the stiff arm? It's like the school of stiff arms. But Tyjae Spears is going to be a dog. That I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. ACL aside, any of that, he going to be a dog. And what did this preseason prove? We can expect better numbers from Ryan Tannehill because he has DeAndre Hopkins. And when Treylon Burks gets healthy and stays healthy, and this offense can run right, even though I know it's still going to be a run first. But I wouldn't mind if they actually kind of had like a little split back system. Like, I know Derek's going to need his touches, but put Tyjae in there for a wrinkle. It's exciting. I love to see Tyjae. Now, folks don't sit here and clap on Malik. Willis. I will say this. Last year, if we didn't have to play Malik, he wouldn't have played. Because he was not ready to play last year. And that's just that. This year, he's definitely quarterback too. One, Mayo Man is hurt, and I don't think Mayo Man is good enough, even though I've seen Mayo Man make some pretty nice throws in practice too. I'm being objective here. I still don't like the man. He's just not that good. But Malik is my Chaos Mario. He is a Chaos Mario. You can't look at that face and tell me he don't look like Mario. But he's chaotic. And yes, I understand that turnovers seem to follow him. But yes, he can harness that. If he could harness some of that chaos and learn kind of to control it a little bit, he's talented. Malik is raw. And that's his problem. He's raw. It's not like he's not good. He just needs to harness his talent. That's his problem. But Tajay Spears, you're going to know him. You're going to know Caleb Murphy. Now, for the one time, can we please cut Josh Wow? Like, I'm so sick and tired of him not catching catchable passes. Like, y'all are blaming Malik for some of these interceptions. No. The first one, and I understand people are going to have this type of thing. Well, it was too high. Even some of the older receivers, they agree to this. Here, if it slips through your hands, if you can touch it, you can catch it. He was supposed to come down with that ball. And there's a few of those that he didn't catch. Cut him. I'm tired of it. I can't sit here and sit through another season of Butterfingers. I can't. I just can't. Next, we have our preseason predictions. And if you don't like them, you can go cry to your mama. That's just how that's going to go. I said what I said. That's it. But preseason predictions. The Cardinals, Raiders, Indy, and Bucks will all stink. And I wouldn't surprise if they didn't go 1, 2, 3, and 4. I would not be surprised. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Preseason predictions. I already said that the Cardinals will stink it up and all of that. The Rams are going to struggle a bit. I don't be surprised if they're still a bad team right now this season. The Broncos could improve after an injury bug. I believe they will. The Broncos, once the Broncos get over their injuries, they will be fine. The AFC East is wide open. Don't forget about New England. I like New England's defense. I'm not so sure about what they got going on with Bill O'Brien in that offense, but it should look a little bit more fluent. The Lions will win that division. I don't have faith in the Vikings. I know Kirk Cousins is decent. And they could win that division. But I got the Lions doing it. I feel like the Lions will capitalize. No, not I feel. The Lions will capitalize on some of that good magic that they captured at the end of last year and build on it this year. That's just that. My Titans won't be trash to everybody in the world. I want to say this right now. My team will not be trash. I don't know why people like to call my team trash, but we're not trash. We just have bad luck. And it's not even the fact that let me get this out. We are not trash. We just haven't had the best of luck. Now, you tell me, last year, week 2, my O-line went to heck. It went there, and it didn't recover. We couldn't really, Derek kept getting hit behind the line of scrimmage because we couldn't hold up for 5 seconds. Ryan Tannehill had a high ankle sprain come week 8 because we couldn't keep him off the ground and he was running for his life. We had to play Malik, and he wasn't ready to play. Josh Dobbs provided a nice spark. And then my defense got wore out because they were on the field for a lot. That's why they were 28th. That's why they were 28th. And like I said, like a week or two ago, I don't understand. If you heard my shorts earlier about the AFC South predictions, if you read that, I said stop trying to crown Jacksonville as being the princesses of the division, because no. Like, no. Like, they didn't even win the division. Like, they won a division last year because of the out-of-division conference. The AFC South has this whole weird thing where, and it came, like, I got this point from one of my close little friends. That the AFC South and the NFC South, they have this weird habit of ruining each other's seasons. And that's what happened last year. I got ruined by Houston, and I got ruined by Jacksonville. And they've been crying all on Twitter, talking about that sweep. I'm like, we've been sweeping y'all for about 2-3 years. That might be an over-exaggeration. But no, we've been sweeping the Colts for the past 2 to 3 years. But grow up. Do it. Grow up. And next bold prediction: if the Chiefs don't keep Chris Jones on that roster, they will be in for a year. What I mean by for a year is it's going to be interesting. It's going to be entertaining. Because without Chris Jones, they got some games. They got some games versus some quarterbacks that they will probably like to have Chris Jones for. Now, I'm not putting you back on my lap if you jump off. Back to what I was saying. So, Chris Jones, if the Chiefs don't have Chris Jones on that roster, they're in for a long year. Now, will they still probably be successful at the end of it? Yeah, but they're in for a year. Ron Rivera, and here's a bold prediction right here. Ron Rivera and Brandon Staley, like I said, I'm sorry. Stuff keep happening, but Ron Rivera and Brandon Staley will probably be fired. No, will be fired by mid-season. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the force with the Ron Rivera fire train is real on my end, because he don't do much, and I'm so sick and tired of having to address comments that he has walked back and said that sounds kind of weird. So yeah, I'm all for it, and I don't like seeing people lose their jobs, but that I have a feeling that his leash is very short. I mean, Brandon Staley's just not a good coach, and I get sick and tired of seeing him waste Justin Herbert's talent. And since we're talking about people that could be getting fired, I know this might set some of the Patriots fans off because I was just nice to you guys, but the slow cooker is on for Bill Belichick. When I mean the slow cooker, I mean he's not on the hot seat. Clearly, he's never going to be on the hot seat. But the slow cooker on, that pressure getting on him. Not even going to lie. And now we're going to head to Jory's Timeout session. And on this week's Jory's Timeout session, we're going to talk about Season 3 of Jory's Sports Stories. And I have a lot that we are going to discuss about some things. So, let's get it. All right. So, for this week's Jory's Sports Stories, Jory's Timeout session, we're going to reveal a little bit about Season 3. So, as always, Season 3 is probably going to be very NFL heavy. Very NFL heavy. Let me pull some of this stuff out. One second. And we're going to have more content from the shorts, from reels to short form YouTube videos, maybe a few live streams. We're working on my camera presence. This is what this is about. But I have a lot of things planned. And it's very, like, I had another show planned with somebody else. I don't want to talk about that right now because I'm still kind of reeling because it was we fell out, just to be very clear. And I was looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to that show kind of taking off because I felt like we had potential to be great. So, but we fell out and it's not going to happen anymore, and there's that. But on Jory Sports Stories Season 3, we have the return of, if you're here from Season 1 to right around Season 2 last year? I mean, Season 1, if you were here last year, because we're coming up on a year, like in October, will be a whole year of Jory Sports Stories. So if you were here for year 1 around last year, you would know that I have like I do my own rankings of teams, and we're returning with Jory's Jacked Up Tiers, and the names of the tiers are as followed. Now you know I have my Dungeon Dwellers, the Clean It Up crew, and yada 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 yada, right? But no. This year we have some different names. We have, like, last year's names were Dungeon Dwellers, still bad but could be worse, Clean It Up, Clear Cut Heavy Hitters, and Undisputed Heavyweight. Now, this year I kind of revamped it up a little bit. So for the top contenders, we got J-Dub's Juggernauts. My strong performers is the Just Can't Miss 'Em crew. Middle of the pack, J-Dub's Jumpstarts. Bottom tier performers is J-Dub's Junkyard crew. I love these names. And my hot seat watch is the Heatwave headquarters. So my name J-Dub or Jory, whichever one y'all want to call me. I like J-Dub is a nickname that's kind of hard though. Can't lie. But we got so much things planned, and surprise, like I'm even thinking about starting another podcast, not even about sports, but some people like to listen to things that I have to say, and I would like to expound that from outside of sports. So within the next 3 months, we'll hear more about it. But right now, just be on the lookout for Jory's life stories, or Jory's love stories. Who knows? But if I do life, we could talk about a little bit of everything. But Jory's Sports Stories are simply just about sports. But that's just a little bit of what's going on. I had some other things planned, but they all fell through. Like, this week has been hell. Sorry, but it has been. I've been going through drama after drama after drama. Even with the other show I was talking about, that hurt. I'm not even gonna lie. It hurt. Knowing that I put my time and effort to try to come up with this show, and put the effort in. I did all of that. Like, we came up with the names, we were coming up with the schedule, we were finna sit down and talk it out, and then we fell out. That hurt, but I will be back. And I'll probably have some more collaborations and stuff soon. So, that being said, let's get into the conclusion. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the deal. If you've reached this part of the show, that means you've reached the conclusion of this week's episode of Jory Sports Stories. As always, I'm your host, Jory. And if you liked what you heard, feel free to share it. Follow us on social media. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video out. Let's grow the audience. Tune in next week. We got WNBA stuff, more NFL stuff, more final preseason tune-ups, Titans talking stuff, all that next week, and we'll reveal a little bit more about season 3. Shoot. Hey, next week is season 2's finale, so you definitely want to tune in for that. I'm just remembering that. I have ADHD, I'm sorry, but next week is season 2 season finale, so you definitely want to tune in because I'm going to talk about some of my favorite moments from the season. I might do a little thread on Twitter, so you want to follow me on Twitter. I got some things planned for that, but without further ado, thank you guys for listening to me today. Tune in next week for the season finale of George Sports Stories, and y'all enjoy the rest of your day.